By the year 2026, artificial intelligence is projected to permanently displace something like 92 million roles globally.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of statistic that just dominates the headlines.
Right. It completely causes widespread panic.
Oh, absolutely.
But, before you start worrying about this totally dystopian, jobless future, there is a second, actually far more urgent statistic that we need to look at today.
And it's a completely different side of the coin.
Exactly. Because in that exact same time frame, according to projections from Deutsche Bank, artificial intelligence is going to create 170 million entirely new jobs.
Which is just a staggering number.
It really is. So welcome to this deep dive. Today, our mission is to explore a document detailing this massive, tectonic workforce shift.
Yeah, it's a complete realignment.
Right, and we are going to critically examine a very specific technological solution that's designed to fix the resulting skills gap. We're looking at exactly how the global economy plans to train millions of people for the AI era.
Especially when, traditional education is structurally incapable of moving fast enough.
Right. So the math here presents a really fascinating, almost terrifying logistical problem.
It does because, we are looking at a net positive of tens of millions of jobs. So the economic potential is undeniably there.
Oh, for sure.
But the infrastructure to actually transition the human workforce into those new roles is, well, it's completely fractured.
Yeah.
You can't simply manifest 170 million highly skilled workers out of thin air in a matter of months.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because on paper, an explosion of new jobs sounds like a golden age of opportunity, right?
That total boom.
But in reality, it creates an immediate, severe economic bottleneck. We essentially have 170 million open seats on this rocket ship.
And nobody knows how to fly it.
Exactly. Nobody knows how to fly it. And we have to figure this out by 2026, which in macroeconomic terms is essentially tomorrow.
Yeah, the clock is absolutely ticking. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the crisis isn't actually a lack of human potential. It is a failure of our legacy training systems. Think about it. A standard university degree takes 4 years to complete.
Minimum. Yeah.
Right. And a traditional physical apprenticeship in a skilled trade takes 3 to 5 years.
So it's just too slow.
Way too slow. By the time a student finishes a traditional curriculum that begins today, the underlying technology of their chosen field will have fundamentally mutated, probably multiple times.
Oh, totally. It's like relying on traditional multi-year schooling to solve an immediate 170 million job crisis is like trying to download a terabyte software update over a 1990s dial-up connection.
That is a perfect analogy, yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how good the data is, right? The bandwidth is just entirely insufficient.
Exactly. The pipes are too narrow.
We need broader bandwidth. And I think that brings us to the core subject of our source material today, which is a company called EON AI Ventures.
Right. The documents we have describe EON AI Ventures as a scalable response to this exact friction point.
They're building the new bandwidth.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They are deploying this incredibly comprehensive extended reality or XR-powered training ecosystem.
And what's their main goal with that?
Well, their objective is to enable workers to transition into these emerging high-demand professions, but not by sitting in a lecture hall.
Right. No more absorbing abstract theory from a whiteboard.
Exactly. It's through highly immersive, hands-on spatial computing experiences.
Okay. And just to be precise about the hardware environment, the text outlines here, because this is important. This extended reality ecosystem isn't locked to just one expensive, bulky, proprietary VR headset.
No, not at all. The source really emphasizes interoperability.
Right. So the platform works across desktops, standard mobile devices, dedicated VR headsets, and mixed reality glasses.
Yeah, they want it everywhere.
It's clearly a strategy to meet the learner wherever they are, just minimizing that hardware barrier to entry as much as possible.
Which is crucial for scale. And they back this up with an XR training library that the text claims is the world's largest.
Wait, how big are we talking?
It contains roughly 9,000 job-ready courses.
Oh, wow, 9,000.
Yeah. But the metric that really stands out here isn't the volume of courses. It is the compression of time.
Right, the temporal compression. That's the entire foundation of their value proposition, really.
Exactly. They're taking traditional multi-year training methodologies and condensing them into a 3-month fast-track certification process.
It's wild. You literally go from absolute zero to certified and deployable in 90 days.
What's fascinating here is how that compression is actually achieved, cognitively and logistically.
Because at first glance, Claiming you can compress years of nuanced training into 3 months just sounds like aggressive corporate marketing.
It sounds totally made up. But when you break down the mechanics of XR simulation technology, you realize it is systematically eliminating massive invisible inefficiencies.
Things we just accept as normal.
Right. Things we just accept as normal in the physical world.
And by inefficiencies, you mean the literal friction of physical space and time.
Precisely. In a traditional physical training environment, the bottlenecks are constant.
Like what?
Well, you have strict limits on instructor availability, for one.
Oh, sure. One teacher, 30 students.
Exactly. You might have a cohort of 30 students who all need to practice on one specific, highly expensive piece of hardware.
So you're just standing around waiting your turn.
Yes. But the most significant bottleneck is safety.
Oh, interesting. How so?
In the physical world, setting up a high-risk scenario, executing it, breaking it down, and resetting the environment for the next learner takes hours.
Sometimes days, I bet.
Literally days, yeah.
Whereas in an XR ecosystem, none of those physical laws apply. You aren't waiting for the senior instructor to finish assessing someone else.
Right.
You aren't standing in line to use the one functioning machine. And crucially, there are zero safety constraints preventing you from failing catastrophically.
That is the big one. You can run unlimited repetitions of highly dangerous scenarios.
Yeah, if you make a critical error in a digital simulation, nobody gets hurt.
No multi-million-dollar equipment is destroyed.
Exactly. And you can reset the entire scenario to zero in less than a second.
And that concept right there of unlimited, frictionless repetition, it fundamentally alters the cognitive learning process.
How does that actually work in the brain, though?
Well, when you read a technical manual, your brain relies on abstract processing. You are trying to translate text on a page into a physical action plan.
Which is hard.
It is. But when you execute a task in XR, you are engaging spatial memory and motor cortex pathways.
So your brain encodes the information not as a memorized fact, but as a lived spatial experience.
Exactly. You are failing safely, receiving instantaneous feedback, and correcting your mechanical actions in real time.
That makes total sense. That is how you accelerate the time to competency.
Right.
So understanding the cognitive mechanism behind this XR technology, it immediately begs the question of where this accelerated training is needed most urgently.
And the answer might surprise some people.
It did surprise me because when most people hear the term AI economy, the immediate mental image is software development.
Right. Programmers, data scientists.
Yeah, people typing furiously on glowing screens in the dark. But the source pulls data from Morgan Stanley's 2026 Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference.
A very heavy-hitting report.
Yeah, and they highlight a labor market that is wildly different from that stereotype. The most urgent shortage isn't software. It's actually in skilled physical trades.
It is a brilliant and, honestly, often overlooked paradox.
We always talk about the cloud and the AI economy as if they're these ethereal, purely digital concepts floating around.
Right, like magic. But the reality is that generative AI is incredibly heavy.
Literally heavy.
Yes, it is made of concrete, steel, and massive amounts of copper wire. It relies entirely on a sprawling, power-hungry physical infrastructure.
It's the data centers.
The massive hyperscale data centers.
Yeah.
You cannot train or run advanced algorithmic models without an immense amount of physical electricity and industrial cooling infrastructure.
And constructing and maintaining these facilities requires an absolute army of highly specialized electricians, structural engineers, and HVAC technicians.
Exactly.
I have to push back on this specific application, though.
Okay, go for it.
I completely understand using VR or a desktop simulation to learn how to manage data or navigate a new software interface that maps one-to-one.
Right.
But a skilled trade is deeply physical. If I am an electrician learning to wire high-voltage physical systems in a virtual environment, I'm holding plastic controllers.
Yeah.
I'm just pinching the air. So how does a headset teach me the physical tension of pulling thick copper wire or the actual weight and resistance of a specialized physical tool?
That's a fair question.
Isn't this just like trying to learn how to swim without ever getting in the water?
It's a critical distinction to make and really forces us to look closely at what EON's virtual campus is actually designed to teach.
Okay, what is it teaching them?
You are correct that a simulation cannot build physical muscle mass, right? It can't replicate the exact tactile resistance of a heavy cable. But what it masters is procedural muscle memory and spatial sequencing.
Ah, okay. Procedural memory.
Yeah. Traditional apprenticeships for these physical roles take up to 5 years, but not because it takes 5 years to build physical strength.
No, of course not.
It takes 5 years to safely encounter enough rare, high-stakes scenarios to be trusted on the job.
So EON's photorealistic physics-based simulations allow learners to encounter and master the logic and sequence of those critical skills in 3 months.
Precisely.
So it isn't replacing the physical conditioning of the job, it is replacing the years of procedural trial and error.
Exactly. It operates on the exact same principle as a commercial flight simulator.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Right. We don't question the logic of a pilot learning to handle a catastrophic multi-engine failure in a digital simulator before they ever fly a physical plane full of passengers.
No, we actually demand that they do that.
Exactly. The simulator doesn't replicate the physical G-force perfectly, but it completely instills the spatial awareness, the dashboard sequencing, and the crisis response instincts.
And the EON virtual campus does this for the physical trades, building the AI infrastructure.
Yes. The learner interacts with virtual schematics, diagnostic tools, and spatial layouts that behave according to real-world physics.
So by the time that electrician steps onto a physical data center construction site, they have already successfully executed the complex diagnostic procedure hundreds of times.
Literally hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Safely.
The idea that the physical concrete backbone of the AI revolution is going to be built by people who learned their trade inside a digital simulation of a data center, I mean, it is incredible, circular.
Yeah.
But mathematically, it seems to be the only viable logistical solution to scaling a physical workforce fast enough to meet a $170 million job demand.
It completely removes the educational bottleneck of the physical world.
So that addresses the blue-collar physical infrastructure required to power this shift.
Right.
But a data center is just an empty, cold room without the software running inside it. Once the power is actually on, who is managing the AI algorithms integrating into the broader economy?
And that brings us to the white-collar knowledge workers.
Yes, exactly.
The Morgan Stanley report identifies this as the next massive hurdle: enterprise reskilling and AI orchestration.
Because we are seeing entire multinational organizations attempting workforce-wide pivots right now, aren't we?
Oh, constantly. They're frantically trying to adapt their legacy operations to utilize generative AI and data science.
And the problem is that corporate seminars on, the future of AI are functionally useless at this stage.
Totally useless.
A high-level overview doesn't give an employee the actual capability to run a new operational model.
Theory is no longer sufficient. Organizations need measurable, deployable capability.
And this is where the text introduces EON's Enterprise Hub.
Yes, they're delivering reskilling programs that force the employee to move beyond abstract theory and actually demonstrate concrete execution.
The methodology they outline in the Enterprise Hub is particularly fascinating from a cognitive science perspective.
It's very rigorous.
It really is. The source explicitly lists a very rigid training workflow. It goes, show me, tell me, guide me, assist me, perform.
And that specific sequence is a highly calculated scaffolding of cognitive load.
Meaning what, exactly?
It prevents the adult learner from becoming overwhelmed by new technological interfaces.
Okay, let's break that sequence down because it illustrates exactly how you transition a legacy worker into an AI-capable worker.
Let's do it.
So, show me and tell me. That is the baseline declarative phase. You observe the ideal process and hear the explanation.
Right, the basics. But the transition happens immediately after. In the guide me phase, the simulation is actively walking you through the digital or physical steps.
It's essentially forcing your hands through the correct motions.
Yes, and then assist me pulls the training wheels back a bit. You are executing the task independently, and the system only intervenes if you deviate from the operational parameters.
Okay, and then finally you hit perform.
Perform is the critical audit phase. The simulation provides zero assistance.
You're flying solo.
Totally solo. You must execute the complex task in the virtual environment flawlessly. And the output of this phase, which is paramount for the enterprise side, is the generation of outcome dashboards.
Right, because when a massive corporation pivots to AI, the board of directors doesn't want to hear that the marketing team feels pretty confident about the new tools.
Absolutely not. They require empirical proof of return on investment.
The hard data.
Exactly. Outcome dashboards provide companies with the hard data necessary to verify certified competency.
Because when an enterprise invests hundreds of millions of dollars into AI infrastructure, they have severe compliance and operational risks if their employees are just guessing at how to use it.
It's a huge liability.
Hmm?
This specific XR workflow provides the auditable proof that the workforce is genuinely capable.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Out of this massive, frantic corporate pivot, the source material identifies an entirely new professional job title that is rapidly emerging.
Oh, this is fascinating.
It's called AI orchestration.
AI orchestration. It
Yes.
sounds incredibly futuristic.
Doesn't it?
But it is a very real, very pressing operational need right now. We're witnessing the birth of a new class of knowledge workers whose sole function is to manage and direct complex AI systems.
And the document notes that traditional universities simply cannot teach this discipline yet.
Well, they can't. Primarily because the required software didn't even exist when current college seniors were freshmen.
It's moving too fast. AI orchestration requires a highly unique hybrid of technical literacy, deep domain expertise in a specific industry, and operational design skills.
Right. These people aren't writing the Python code for the AI.
No.
They are managing a fleet of algorithmic workers. They're acting as the general contractors of the digital world, basically, directing how various AI agents interact with human employees and corporate data.
So the logistical problem returns. How do you systematically train a global workforce for a management position that barely existed 24 months ago?
And EON's approach is to submerge learners in direct hands-on environments with the AI itself.
Right. The source is specifically named two tools utilized for this: EON Brainy and EON Assist IQ.
Yes.
To make this concrete, let's look at how this actually functions. Let's say you are a logistics manager in the supply chain industry.
Okay, good example.
You aren't coding the routing algorithms. Instead, you are using a tool like EON Assist IQ to automatically ingest global weather data, instructing the AI to reroute a fleet of cargo ships, and then having the system automatically generate the financial risk summaries for the human accounting department.
Right. You are orchestrating the flow of data and decision-making.
And through the XR platform, learners are actively supervising and optimizing these exact types of simulated AI systems.
Across 17 different distinct industry segments, according to the report.
Wow, 17.
Yeah. The platform integrates AI coaching scenarios where the learner interacts directly with these agents.
So they're developing the highly specific managerial instincts required for workforce orchestration by actually orchestrating simulated workflows.
Exactly. You learn how to manage an AI by actively managing an AI inside a structured simulation.
It provides hands-on experiential learning for a purely digital management role.
You're developing the operational muscle memory, learning where the algorithms tend to hallucinate or fail before you are ever handed the keys to a Fortune 500 company's live production environment.
And they are achieving this competency in that same 3-month window.
Right, which is the only time frame that allows an enterprise to actually remain competitive in this current market.
So synthesizing all of these sources today, when we analyze EON AI Ventures and this XR fast-track methodology, we are not simply looking at a software vendor that makes neat virtual reality tutorials.
No, not at all. The text positions this technology as a critical acceleration layer.
An acceleration layer, I like that.
It is the vital bridge between what a few top-tier experts currently know and what the massive transitioning global workforce actually has the capacity to execute.
They are attempting to provide the structural mechanism to transform millions of legacy workers into job-ready AI-era professionals at an entirely unprecedented scale.
They're building the pedagogical infrastructure required to actually seize this 170 million job opportunity.
Right, rather than allowing the global economy to be crushed by the friction of the transition.
Precisely.
So what does this all mean for you? As you listen to this analysis, I want you to critically evaluate your own industry right now.
It's a good exercise.
Whether you are working in healthcare administration, advanced manufacturing, corporate finance, or global logistics, think about the friction points in your daily workflow.
Because they're there.
If the ground is fundamentally shifting under your feet and your specific sector is getting swept up in this 170 million job realignment, how does a 90-day immersive XR bootcamp alter your own trajectory?
It changes everything.
It really does. How does the ability to literally download experience change the way you prepare for the next 5 years of your career?
And, this raises an important question, and it is a structural implication we should really ponder as we conclude here.
Yeah, what's that?
We have just examined how a highly complex, incredibly dangerous, physical, trade-like, high-voltage electrical engineering for a hyperscale data center can be successfully, safely mastered via spatial XR simulation in just 3 months.
Yeah, which is still mind-blowing.
And we've seen how complex digital management can be learned through simulated orchestration.
Right.
So if this methodology proves out at the macroeconomic scale, what does that mean for the ultimate future of the traditional four-year university degree?
Oh, wow.
If major global employers transition to a model where they only value certified, empirically proven competency on an outcome dashboard, and they can acquire that verified proof in 90 days, will these hyper-realistic virtual ecosystems eventually render the traditional physical classroom entirely obsolete?
That is a massive foundational question to leave you with, because when you think back to how we usually view technological progress, we expect the old systems to just quietly, smoothly give way to the new ones.
But it's rarely smooth.
Exactly. With XR training and the sheer scale of the AI revolution, we might not just be updating the curriculum inside the old factory. We might be realizing that we never actually needed a physical factory for learning in the first place.
It's a whole new world.
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.